All right, so what is up, my fearless networking friend? I don't know. We'll have some fun today. How to not suck at network marketing. So I don't know. I think that's I don't know. I don't even know how I came up with that, but whatever. So let's talk about that. How to not suck at network marketing. I think if you're going to be in network marketing, why would you want to suck at it? Why would you want to not be good at it? Why would you want to fail at it? Or however else we might be able to describe the opposite of suck. So, okay, so just some serious thoughts here. I know kind of a weird subject line for this particular one, but let's actually get serious about it. So, obviously if you're following me, you're probably following me because you are involved in network marketing, you're involved in direct selling, you're involved in some type of business. You're coming here, you're seeking advice based on someone who has a proven field experience. Like, this is not my first rodeo. I've been doing this for quite a while. And so I've had a chance to work with a lot of people over the years and see what works and see what doesn't work, and see people that are great at it and see people that aren't great at it. Look, here's the deal. Like, people come to the network marketing profession with a variety of different experiences up until the moment that they get here, and they choose to engage in a business in this space. And sometimes the person that comes here, they have a background in sales, or they're super gregarious and outgoing, and they have a degree of confidence or self-confidence about them, and a lot of times those people, they have influence among their peers, and everybody likes them, and it's almost like it's easy or effortless for some of those people. And then some people come in, and a lot of people who don't have a lot of influence and don't have big followers, or don't have tons of friends, or don't have any a lot of communication or sales skills or whatever, and that road can be harder for that individual. I would say that I, for the most part, probably fit into that latter category when I started, because I think I was I was kind of always a jokester, and in school, and I got picked on a lot when I was a little kid, but I was always pretty outgoing for the most part, but not necessarily a lot of skills. In fact, when I got involved in network marketing, some of you know this, some of you don't know this, my total job experience were, at age 16, I started working at McDonald's. Then I moved to California, and I started working at Jack in the Box. And then I got a job valet parking at Kelly's restaurant, and was parking cars. And then I sold shoes for about 3 months, and I hated that. And then I sold cable television door to door. And that was my job experience. And then I found I was going through college, and I found network marketing. So you can't say that's a tremendous amount of work experience. My resume was not impressive necessarily. But when I saw network marketing for the first time, and I looked at the model, and the model made sense to me, this idea of having leverage. Again, the other thing for me personally is when I first looked at network marketing, the very first time, I had never heard of network marketing prior to that. So it was a totally brand new exposure. I didn't have a friend that tried one of them things, or a relative that did, or I didn't know what a pyramid was other than the ones that were in Egypt. I didn't know, I had this totally clean slate. So I think that clean slate allowed me to go in non-judgmental, with no opinion, just seeing the model for what it was. And to me personally, the model made sense. And I didn't know what was going to, I didn't know what to do or how I was going to do it. I just thought, okay, build a team, and people move products, and you can earn an income, and you get a percentage of everything that the whole team does. And conceptually, that made sense to me, versus work, get paid, not work, not get paid. So, but I don't want to get off track on this. So how to not suck at it. So, okay, so if that's your objective, then there's a lot of things that you can do to not suck at it. And I'm talking an overall viewpoint, not just one area. I know the last couple weeks, if you caught any of my last couple episodes, last week I think was on inviting, and the previous week was on not having call reluctance or prospecting reluctance, and those are kind of both focused on really kind of the prospecting side of the business. But there's a lot of other elements to network marketing that we do that you need to be good at. So one thing I would do, this would be kind of cool. I actually do this with my A-team group, would be to write down all the things that we do in network marketing. This is actually, I didn't even think I was going to say this, but this is perfect. So like look at all the different things that we do in network marketing. I'm not going to give you like a full list, but like okay, lead generation, or making new contacts, creating new connections. So we've got to be doing something to like generate new new prospects or new leads. So like list building or lead generation, inviting, following up, overcoming objections, or answering questions, closing, starting or launching your new reps, your team building skills, leadership skills, marketing skills, like what all the different things that we might do. You come up with a list. And then what you should do is rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in those categories. Like, let's take, since we talked last week about inviting, like if you're going to rate yourself on like your ability with inviting, like how you feel about your skill level with inviting, 1 is I'm the worst inviter in the world, and 10, I'm the greatest that there is. What number would you give yourself? And let's say you give yourself a 3. Okay, well, all right, be honest. It's great to be honest. No, you don't have to, this is for you. Or you give yourself a 7. Like I wouldn't even give myself a 10. Like probably on any category, I'd probably give myself 9s in a lot of categories, but I've always still got room for growth and improvement, right? So, so then what you do is you ask yourself, like, how do I improve on this? Like take the one thing, whatever that is, whether it's inviting or list building or team building or leading a team or promoting for events or copywriting and marketing skills or social media or whatever the different things are that are involved in what we do in the business. So now you can kind of look at all the activities or stuff that we do, right? And then each one is going to have, ultimately each one's going to have the similar processes to where you're not sucking at it, but they're like for example, I've talked about this so many times, like practice. If you practice prospecting, that's definitely a pathway to not sucking at it. If you observe other people doing it that are really good and you're not, that's another pathway because you can learn from observation. You can also learn by doing, right? But then if we take, for example, social media, and you're like, let's say I got no social media game whatsoever, like I'm starting from scratch, like 0, and you've never even been on social media, which is probably not the case for most of you, but you're starting from 0, well, you start observing other people. Like, I mean, you're not going to necessarily practice social media, right? But you might practice ahead of time doing a Facebook Live if we're talking about that before you go live, so you can, kind of get yourself comfortable in front of a camera. You can be prepared. Like, okay, if I'm going to do like this is like, I'm recording this obviously, but I never do second takes. This is always like a 1-take deal for Todd. So if I'm getting ready to talk about a subject like the subject I'm talking about right now, which is how to not suck at network marketing, I have to have my particular thoughts in order of what I'm going to say. Sometimes I'm like, even what I'm talking about right now, this wasn't actually what, I didn't even know that I was going to say what I was going to say, but I said something which led to, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in these categories, and then ask yourself, what do I need to do to improve in these different areas? But you need to be the one that comes up with the list. What are all the different things that you do? Or even if you don't know, ask somebody like, okay, so if I was going to truly be successful in network marketing, what are all the different things that I might be doing? Well, you're probably going to be, posting things on social media and generating engagement and creating, likes, comments, and shares, and getting people to, potentially request information from you. You're doing some attraction marketing stuff, and then you're, inviting people to take a look, or you're hosting Zooms, or you're, doing Facebook Lives, or you're doing Reels, or other things that you might be doing. So how would you get good at that? How would you go from sucking at it, like I'm terrible at it, to being, whatever that number is on a scale of 1 to 10? And the way I kind of do this with my A-team group is I'm like, okay, guys, look, you don't necessarily need to be a 10, but if we look at it like grades in school, like if you got a 40% or a 4 out of 10, that's a failing grade. If you get a 5 or 5 out of 10, that's still a failing grade. A 6, okay, that's passing, but most parents aren't going to accept their kids like getting D's, straight D's, so 60 to 69%. So my opinion is like, look, if you can get yourself to like a C or above average, like C is like kind of average, okay, you're not like the supreme of supremes at that level, but you're a C student, you're passing, your parents are probably not, grounding you, you're getting by, you have room for improvement. I think we need to be like in at a minimum 7, maybe an 8 in the different things that we're doing. So how do you get yourself, if we go back to inviting for a second, if you gave yourself a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you get yourself from a 3 to a 7 or an 8? And then start like really thinking about it. Well, if I wanted to get good at inviting, maybe I'd read some books on it. Maybe I would start studying great inviters. Maybe I would start really analyzing what I'm doing with inviting. Maybe I would really, really focus on practicing and really get serious about getting good at it. Like some people are, I honestly, I think a lot of people are pretty lazy about their pathway to improvement. Like if you, like, and I've heard this from a lot of like very high level entrepreneurs that are like at the top of their game. In other words, they don't suck at what they do. They're like at the very top of their game. Well, those are people that in their own words will say, I became obsessed with getting good. I became obsessed with getting good. Like my kid right now, for example, my youngest kid, I would call him, he's obsessed with skateboarding. And I remember Rob Dyrdek was on a stage at an event I was at, and he was talking about, and my kid is doing the same thing. I'm not saying my kid's ever going to be Rob Dyrdek, but he is obsessed with getting good. Rob was obsessed with like knocking out these tricks. So he would do this, whatever the kick flip is, or whatever they're called, whatever the things are, and he would be practicing this thing, and he would do it over and over, and he'd crash, and he'd fall, and he'd crash, and he'd fall, and he was just doing it and doing it and doing it until he finally, dialed in that trick. And it's crazy because my kid will come home with these clips, and he's like falling, and he's like, Dad, I finally did this, whatever it is, like I don't even know. I'm like, I'm not going to do the skate language because I'm going to suck at it at the moment. I suck at skate language. I know kickflip, ollie kickflip, whatever, fakie, whatever it might be. But that's the thing that you need to think about. I mean, do you have an obsession with getting good? And I think, again, like if you look at it like sharpening your saw, right? Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he tells this great story about, I'm not going to go into the story on this one. I've done that a couple times before, but if you're trying to cut something with a dull knife, like if you're trying to take a tomato and you got this kitchen knife that's not a butter knife, but you're trying to cut it, but it's totally dull, you'll end up like smashing the tomato because the edge of the blade is not sharp. But if you just take the time to sharpen the blade, then all of a sudden, it's easy to cut very like razor thin slices of that tomato. If you wanted super thin slices of tomato, or just cutting it in general is just like, it's effortless because you've sharpened the edge. So the question is, how sharp is your edge? Right? And so if you look at all the different things that we do and your objective is like, hey, I don't want to suck at network marketing, look at all of the things, not just one thing, but all the different things that we do in network marketing, the different roles and responsibilities that we have, and then rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 and then go, okay, what do I have to do to improve in this category? And what do I need to do to improve in this category? And then begin working on doing those to improve so you can give yourself a better rating on that scale of 1 to 10. Because if you're a 2 across the board, for example, I'm like on a scale of 1 to 10 on every single category. If you're a 2, you probably suck at network marketing. If you're a 1, you most certainly probably suck at network marketing, and that probably doesn't feel good. And you certainly don't want to stay there. I don't think you want to stay there. You wouldn't be watching me if you wanted to stay there. So there is a pathway to improvement. And the great news is, and I'll end with this, everything that we do in this business is learnable, okay? Everything that we do is something that you can work on and improving, and you can sharpen your saw, sharpen your edge, and you can get better, and therefore you're going to get better results in whatever business it is that you're involved in this space or anywhere else for that matter. So YouTube guys and gals, what's up? Appreciate you so much. If you're on my podcast listening to me on audio, thank you as well. And hey, the rest of the story is right here on my page, toddfalcone.com/episode 203. That's this episode, TODDFALCONE.com/episode 203. We'll see you next time.